Alright guys, welcome back. So let's have a look at Palantir, PLTR, $92 level. This is where we are trading as of April 16th. So tomorrow it's very large option expiration. So if you're new to this channel, we have talked about how large cap stocks, they trade from option expiration to option expiration, and I was pretty much giving an example of last time when I talked about March 12th. So it looks like it has been exactly 1 month. But in both instances, so I was talking about IV crush. And this is what I mean by IV crush. A lot of people don't understand still because they don't trade options. And a lot of people don't give much credit to options traders, but in reality, I mean, option traders are more sophisticated traders than any other traders in the market, whether you're trading equities or whether you're trading futures or whatever you're trading. Because this has been pretty much backtracked by me all the way back to like 2000s, and this is the way market operates. It just operates like an insurance. I mean, this whole premium selling and option activity, it's like a whole insurance scam, if you want to call it that way. And I call it scam because if you are somebody who's directional, you can get smoked, and that's what a lot of people are in option market. And a lot of times people, I mean, large institutions, they have many other ways of expressing their position. They don't have to be long stock, they don't have to be short stock, but they can still walk away with significantly a lot more money just by collecting premium, by selling both end, whatever kind of position you want to acquire in terms of options in Palantir or whatever other stock. They will sell it to you, but in the end, house still wins. And that's the case in many OPEX to OPEX scenarios. That's why I tell a lot of people anytime I cover large cap stocks, and where, of course, it doesn't happen all the time, but again, it happens more often than not, where stocks just move between option expiration to option expiration literally nowhere. It will give you an opportunity like to go long and short if you are like ultra short dated, if you're trading like weeklies, which is essentially you're gambling and just going in and out. Sure, you will make money, but if you're trading OPEX to OPEX, or if you have like a couple months of expiration options, which is directional, you wouldn't make money. So this is Palantir price action in the last 2 months. So I talked about somewhere here saying that this stock will do absolutely nothing between option expiration to option expiration. These lines that I drew right here, these are option expirations. Every third Friday of the month is a pretty big weekly, monthly option expiration. Okay, and pay attention to the price where it opens right there in March after February, I think, expiration, and then where it closes in March. What is it, 18th, or when did it close? 20 something. And then pay attention to this option expiration that is about to happen April 17th. So this is $91 level. This is where it closed last option expiration, and pay attention where we are at the moment coming into next option expiration, where there are a lot of stocks actually getting hit pretty hard. Yeah, they're way lower than they were in the beginning of previous option expiration. But this is how like market makers, I mean institutions, and again positioning smokes a lot of directional people. Let's say you were very aggressive right there, thinking that it's gonna be going a lot lower, and you had pretty much realized gains somewhere right here, but you didn't take it. If you didn't take it, well, it would come right back, and pretty much it would go to zero if you are somebody who is greedy, or who doesn't like lock in the at least initial capital or whatever the risk you had on in your mind. And I just keep repeating it over and over, where you have to look at OPEX to OPEX chart versus monthly chart. And I have it on mine right here. I'll show you guys what's going on. And again, it applies to both if you are bullish and bearish. It works both ways, okay? So there are times stock just gets pinned like this and it just does nothing for 2 quarters, especially when does it happen? It happens after stock either moving significantly lower or significantly higher and trading at its historic high implied volatility levels where premiums are very expensive. And this is where a lot of institutions just sell the heck out of options expiring 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and pretty much because of those positionings in options, stock just gets pinned to that certain price level and magnet to that certain price level, and it just will not move anywhere. It can't just stay in the range, couple percent. Of course, it doesn't have to be precise, but this is the OPEX to OPEX chart of this stock, okay? And you can see in the last 2 months, especially after having such a huge move, yes, it has given you a range, but it hasn't declined, okay? So year to date, if you want to take a look at any stock out there, I mean, this is one of the names that is still holding up very nicely. Year to date, Palantir stock, I mean, your market, overall market, what is it, down like 10%, 20%, whatever the level we are? Palantir stock year to date is up 22%, okay? It's outperforming the heck out of anything, but it doesn't mean that it has to be that way for the remainder of the year, because we just got started. And here are a few levels I'm watching. So essentially what I'm saying here now, since of course, yeah, I'm going to put on my title that it could potentially fill the gap, earnings gap from previous price gap, and I'll show you that in a bit. But essentially what I'm saying is now after this option expiration, this stock is free to move wherever it wants to go, whether it wants to go higher all the way to 120, test its all-time highs, or it will flush back down to its 200-day moving average somewhere around $62 levels. And also they have earnings coming up in May 5th. So the support area I'm watching 65, but at the moment this $90 level is your support. But if it cracks, sure, I'll be watching these $65, $66 levels where it has tested a couple times in the past, and especially after this flush down as well. And also this gap from last earnings report where it has gapped from 41-ish, $42 level all the way to 47, 48. I'm pretty sure at some point these gaps will get filled, and it will fill in Palantir's case. Even these way down there, like we have like gaps from 24 to 27. And again, I'm just running a little bit maybe too far ahead, but this is what I'm watching. Essentially, after this option expiration, I would be looking at the positioning. And today there was a pretty, let me show you one order actually that was standing out. So somebody came in, and I think I even posted it here on my YouTube members as well. So 22,000 contracts came in. I don't know how it's going to change. $60 put. Somebody was pretty much playing this play even right here when stock was pretty much moving sideways at these levels. People were buying aggressive far outside of the money. April 24th, I think, puts, $60 puts, and they capitalized right at these levels, and then they got out. And then now after bouncing back to these levels, people started buying that 60 strike again, but with a bit 1 month further. And those are very large orders, but I'm not saying that it has to go down. It can certainly go up. But I'm personally considering what's going on with overall market in general and the volatility levels and overall market, blue chips, high flying names pretty much getting smoked. I think this stock with its very, very large forward price to earnings ratio can come down significantly, actually. 50%, I think I would not be surprised if it gets filled at these $41 levels. And I'm not saying that it has to get filled very fast in a day or two, because I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people in the comment section just coming in, it's not going to happen. just come test maybe in 2, 3, 6 months from now on, and let's see where Palantir is trading. I don't have a position. I'm not shorting it at the moment. I try to go in when I see certain price levels crack to the downside or to the upside. I mean, if it cracks, let's say 96, 98, this is the resistance level where it pretty much rejected yesterday. I would be watching it long if it takes out this basically resistance to the upside, maybe go all the way to 123. So, but very early on, somewhere around here when it was 24% crash, short squeeze, February 20th, I was talking about this flash coming, and I was comparing it to NVIDIA chart, and it can look a lot like that chart as well. So, and I was comparing it to NVIDIA chart from 2024, where we had this sort of a move, and I'm essentially saying that right now we could be somewhere here for Palantir, and it could come down and then go back up and just do this shenanigans until it eventually forms pretty large top. But again, it doesn't have to look that way. It can certainly flush lower sooner. But this is something I'm looking for. Basically, this is the, I don't have to watch it one-to-one, but this is the similar pattern it was trading where NVIDIA took people for a ride when everyone was falling in love with this stock. This is OPEX to OPEX chart now, and you can see what it did. It pretty much did similar price action. It just OPEX to OPEX, it just kept killing premium, where people were just pretty much falling in love more and more, and more people started loading, and the overall sentiment was pretty crazy. And then boom, after hitting those highs and pretty much after New Year starting, I mean, with overall volatility, stock pretty much pulled back 40%. But again, Palantir is not as large cap as NVIDIA, but it's still very large cap stock, and that's what I'm watching for the name essentially. So it can go down to fill those gaps, but at the same time, it can move just like NVIDIA has done. Maybe flushes one more time and then just comes back, tests, maybe takes out its all-time highs. Depends what overall market is going to do, okay? So, but again, this is my take regarding Palantir. On the other hand, I mean, there is a plenty of opportunity in between OPEX to OPEX to trade it in and out, like intraday. I mean, I can trade it, essentially go in, let's say, for a swing for a day and get out. But longer term, this is what I'm watching for Palantir. So that's the video. That's the update. That's my opinion. I'm not telling you to buy or sell. This is purely for educational and entertainment purposes only. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.